Hey guys, how you doing? So today was a new day, and in previous live streams, I talked about how I thought Walmart's distribution network deserves some credit, and I still think it is fighting the good fight and trying to take all of our money that we want to give to it, you know. But today, I was running some of my therapy groups, and I heard stories of shortages happening across the city of Denver in various different stores. And I was like, maybe I want to see what's going on here. And so after I got out of work, I went over to Walmart, and it was a much different story than I had seen before. In fact, it's starting to look a little concerning. Now, they were using a lot of stock boys to put a whole bunch of product on the shelf. I mean, they had it looked like what you would see there in the wee hours of the night, only it was happening at 7, 8 p.m. You know, just pallets of stuff they were just trying to put back on the shelves because people had just shopped. Um, And the biggest story of the day is that first item that I stocked up on a couple days ago. And I said, guys got to shit. Got to have your shit tickets. That first item of toilet paper, in fact, is out all over the city. There are shortages of toilet paper. And so I do know of a few places that still had toilet paper uh, by the end of the day, but there are a lot of places that were just out. Dollar stores, Walmarts, King Supers, Kroger's for you people not in my state. Um, yeah, they were all out of toilet paper. Um, I went to Walmart just to see the decimation, and once again, their eggs had been shopped over pretty hard. Um, that was the first day I noticed that their eggs were low, and now they restocked, and I saw them all come back, and now they're low again. Uh, there was no toilet paper at all. Paper towels were sparse. The tissues were also sparse. Basically, anything that you could possibly wipe your butt with as a temporary solution to that problem was sparse. Um, and I just got this feeling, it was starting to set in like, oh my goodness, this panic is actually starting to happen. I looked at all of the products, and they did seem a little bit picked over, like only half of it was actually there. And then I went down the pasta aisle because somebody has too much sauce in his house and not enough noodles. So I went and I got 4 boxes of angel hair pasta because that's what I like to cook with. And I think there was maybe 2 boxes left after I bought my four. And there were a couple boxes of rotellini, a couple boxes of bow tie pasta, but really, it was looking pretty bare in the pasta aisle too. I'm like, gosh, people are starting to think like me as far as what kind of food is going to have some shelf life to it. Uh, I went down the vegetable aisle because, well, I wanted some green beans, and all the French cut green beans had been chopped down. I did find a case of like regular green beans that I can just uh, cook with that. And so I grabbed a 4 pack of green beans and, you know, just to add some variety to all the food that we already have stocked up. I was like, we need some more vegetables. So just walking down those aisles, though, I was like, man, it's a lot more comforting when Walmart has all the food on the shelves and not like half the food on the shelves. It is kind of concerning. It gives you an anxiety just looking at it, like, wow, people are really using this community refrigerator, this pantry of the people that Walmart is. And they're thinking with scarcity because they are really throwing off Walmart's distribution network in that they all want to stock up right now. And this pandemic is causing a mass hysteria to the point where um, now Denver's feeling it. And I've heard of other cities already having gone through this. Hi, Bugsy in the chat. Henry Hill says, have you seen the movie Mad Max? Yes, I have. And we do have dog food for our dogs, just like Mad Max. Wait, are you talking about the original or the new one? Because I was referencing the original with the dog food. Um, anyways, no privacy says, why are we not asleep? Reason number one, I don't have work until late in the morning, like late, late. And also because I have discussion posts for grad school that I get all the way up till midnight to be able to tweak on so that I can keep my 4.0. And then after that priority, after I hit submit, uh, then I'm thinking, oh, I like to make that daily YouTube video. And so this is what it's come to. I'm making these videos where I hit start recording like right before midnight, and then it goes uh, on into the next day. So I'm trying to keep it at one video a day, just to keep touching base with you guys. And I've been doing it since the end of January, made it all the way through February, and we'll see how far I go. Maybe I can get back in the swing of things and start producing some quality content for you guys. But today, I had some stories from my personal life that I'm going to share. Um, Bugsy says we're addicted to the internet. I will agree. Uh, Henry says, did you see Trump reading things he doesn't understand, believe or understand? I actually avoided watching that before this. There are some videos I'm going to watch after this video, but I'm going to tell my stories about what it's like to live through the mass hysteria caused by this pandemic. So I did 2 therapy groups today, right? As a facilitator. The morning group, I uh, I had a full group, right? I was missing maybe 2 people, right? The evening group, only half the people showed up, and it was odd because this was a group of people that normally they all show up because they like me, they like each other, and so I was kind of spooked by that because my plans were to go see how decimated the Walmart was. But also, some other things were getting into my head and raising the anxiety levels. Um, After the first group that I did this morning, I was doing my notes on my computer, and my employer uh, realized that the toilet paper had been stolen out of the bathroom, and in both genders of bathroom. And so all the toilet paper that was left in the bathrooms was actually the toilet paper that was on the wall, but the spares that were put underneath the sink in order to allow for somebody to be able to restock it in case they used what was on the wall. They were gone, and Flapjack Batter says, "Oh wow, Grand Theft TP." Yeah, yeah, that's what it was. And here's the thing: at that time, I was like, "What the fuck, people? Why would you steal toilet paper from us?" Well, by the end of the day, I understood the scarcity mindset that somebody might have. Like, oh, holy shit, I didn't make it to the store in time, and now I don't have toilet paper, and I'm going to need a roll or two. You know, I understand that now, but at that moment, before I had lunch, I actually dreamed up. You know what? Just to get back at whoever's stealing our toilet paper, we should probably take a roll of toilet paper and like dump ghost pepper juice all on the toilet paper roll, let it dry, and then put it underneath the sink so that um, we know that it's there, right? And just keep watch that the roll on the wall doesn't get low because somebody might actually use it. But then like the thief would steal that roll, and then we know that you know, the person who stole that toilet paper was going to have a horrible surprise, right? I dreamt that up, thinking like we should protect our toilet paper, right? And then by the end of the day, I was actually kind of feeling guilty about that thought, because I understand where people are at. That whole scarcity is setting in, that people are thinking, oh my goodness, is more toilet paper even going to come into our city? You know, I was kind of a fucking asshole thinking of that kind of stuff. Booby trapping the fucking toilet paper. Um, I thought it. I didn't do it. Anyways, at around 2 p.m., I started a Zoom class for my grad school. Now, when you're doing practicums and internships, you also have to attend a class. And the way that we do this is we all get into something like a Google Hangout with everyone there, but it's a Zoom room, and it's more secure than that, and we can all see what's going on around each other, so that if we're going to talk about the experiences we're having, it's kind of secure. Well, um, coronavirus was on everyone's mind, and while we were in that discussion, more directives came down from uh, on high to our instructor to tell us about things. And one of the things that is upsetting some of my fellow classmates in my grad school is they chose to be school counselors, unlike me, who is a clinical mental health specialist in a clinic. They're placed in schools, right? So schools are reacting to the pandemic by shutting down. And I had heard about this happening like in one or two schools, and I had also heard about it uh, in other countries like Japan. They just basically said everyone go home, right? But I didn't see it happening quite so fast here in Denver, right? Um, Yesterday I heard that they had stopped the St. Patrick's Day parade from happening. They shut it down, they canceled it. And I was like, it's a bit of an overreaction, isn't it? You know, probably, liabilities and whatnot. So they just canceled. I'm like, okay, fine. Today, come to find out that some of the students that go to my university and are in my cohort and in my class are actually in the Seattle area. So, part of this class that I was in today was dealing with alternative ways that they could get their hours, you know? And one of the solutions for clinical mental health people is we can do telehealth sessions like I am talking to you guys right now, only, you know, doing a video chat back and forth with someone in their own home without going there, and it it started to set in even more, you know. Um, John's Wacky World says if Tom Hanks dies, it will be the end of the world. Um, I hadn't even heard about Tom Hanks and his wife getting coronavirus before I got home after stopping at Walmart at the end of my day. I'm not there yet in my story. So we were getting news from my school pretty much as we were in our course. And I make these live streams so that internet archaeologists might one day learn about what it was like to go through this, you know, era. And so there was an announcement that went out at 11:41 a.m. To all of us, and it says, "Hello, everyone. Your university and the Department of Counselor Education has been closely monitoring the details and impact of the novel coronavirus outbreak in the United States and Colorado. We're prepared to take the necessary precautions to contain any spread of the virus on our campus. There have been no confirmed cases in the local area around the campus. At this time, there's no change to the daily operations of the university. The campus is operating normally, and our department is fully prepared to conduct courses, normal business operations, and intensives as scheduled." Now, intensives, here's the thing, intensives is me going to the campus along with everyone else from around the world who's taking the same courses that I am in my cohort. We all descend on the campus at the same time so that in person we can figure out if there's somebody who maybe doesn't have their skills up to par to being a counselor. It's like the one time that uh, we're all together in the same place and the instructors can physically see us face to face. Nothing but air, no electronics between us. But we're all coming from all over the country and some people from outside of the country, all descending onto the university and taking these courses together. Not a good thing, especially with just 30 minutes. before I started this stream, I saw a video labeled Trump declares that all travel from Europe is now halted for the next 30 days and could be longer, right? Um, yeah, it's getting serious. So, um, I don't know if my intensives are going to happen. They're supposed to be in June, and I do have that marked off on my calendar as a time where I want to, not work. I'm kind of a contractor where I do work, so I have this like marked off as time where I'm not working, and they're going to find a replacement for me during that interim time, right? So that I can go to my school. And it could be that this pandemic actually puts me behind an entire school year if I can't get that done. Also, um, in the practicum that I'm in right now, I'm required to have a set number of hours uh, in a uh, setting in my practicum that I have to collect direct human contact, like either individual counseling or group counseling, right? Uh, if every clinic all together one day says, you know what, there's so many cases of this coronavirus, we're just going to shut down all the clinics, just like the schools are shutting down, then I can't get my hours. And it was explained to me that you at least have to do by the CACREP accreditation standards, you have to do 10 weeks at your uh, practicum site for that practicum to count. But you also have to have all the hours in. This is week 9, and I have uh, 75% of the hours done. And it would take me another 3 weeks in order to collect all the hours at my current pace. And really, there is no other uh, day in my schedule that I could be picking up hours at my practicum site in order to speed it up really quick before everything gets shut the fuck down. So I'm kind of sweating it because, I could be in the same boat as the school counselors that are having their schools shut down and they don't know how they're going to get their hours, you know? So I was kind of on edge after that, after that class of like, oh my goodness, this is starting to feel like the first few episodes of any good TV show about zombies, like The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead, right? Like, it's starting to set in, like, holy shit, this is actually going down. Um, and it's changing the world, right? So, I'm running the group that I do in the evening. Um, the therapy's going on, and in the middle of it, I get passed a note from my employer, and it is actually that they uh, were going to be looking into the feasibility of telehealth. And I can't go into all of the specifics as to why they're looking into it, but it just came up all of a sudden, right? But because the governor of Colorado officially signed a state of emergency about it, I guess what's going to happen is we have to make accommodations for people with their mandated therapy for having DUI. Because they're supposed to have one group per week. And if we give them this contract that says, yes, I agree to show up one group per week, they take this contract, this agreement, and then they take it to the DMV and they get a provisional license, right? And if they don't go to their therapy once a week during that time that they're mandated to go, uh, they get their driver's license revoked, right? But who's going to go to therapy during a pandemic where they could get, sick with something that could kill them, you know? And not all of the clients that I would see would fit into the demographic where it's completely uh, feasible for them to have those fears, and reasonable. But some of them are of that age demographic where this looks like a deadly decision that you would be making. Do I want to drive or and risk possibly dying of the coronavirus? Because I went to that class where all these people that were possibly carrying those germs were there. Same thing with school. Like, how do you ask people to show up to a classroom where they might be catching this stuff? You know, so the schools are shutting down first, but now uh, therapy agencies who don't make any money if they aren't open, um, they're actually having to make this decision of, do we want to be seeing people? You know? And so I read this little note of like, this was an official note that was them talking to the Office of Behavioral Health about whether or not it would be feasible for us to offer the option of telehealth DUI classes. And I'm like, this is quick. This is life comes at you quick. Like whoosh, like quick. Like we had only just been discussing that earlier in the day, like it was a joke. But this is like OBH is responding to our emails about this. This is not normal, you know, and what it could do to just the offerings of the agency that I'm working for. I could actually be uh, just like I am right now with my own lamp on my own couch. I could be running therapy uh, as soon as they give the okay, and just do it in Zoom rooms that are secure. I'm like, oh my goodness, game changer. I wish it was that way the whole freaking time, before people could have been, you know, infected and uh, infectious, but not showing symptoms. Because, there is a good percentage chance that I already have the coronavirus. I'm not showing any symptoms whatsoever. I just took my temperature. It's completely normal. Um, I have a I have a thermometer in the bathroom, you know. But right now, the anxiety, the way that I'm feeling it, it's kind of set off all my adrenaline. And what I saw at the Walmart actually started me feeling like kind of, uh, you know, it's actually happening. I'm actually going to be thankful for the toilet paper that I did stock up with, because I feel like I'm going to make it by the time that uh, the Walmart distribution network comes through. I'm going to make it, you know. Rodline says at this point, benzos are your friend. You know, for a foodie who self medicates with food, I can do better than that. I got ice cream. Kip Drordy says, so far the death rate in the U.S. is lower than 0.00001%. I don't know where you're getting your statistics, Kip, but I'm more afraid of people that are alive and don't have the virus than people who are getting the virus and dying, if that makes any sense. Just like in The Walking Dead, like they're more afraid of Negan and his gang as an actual threat to them than they are the fucking zombies at a certain point because they can deal with the zombies just fine. But other people can fuck you up. So, um, yeah, that's uh, that's where I'm coming from. Uh, Rod Lane says when he has a full blown panic attack, ice cream doesn't cut it. Well, I got ice cream sandwiches. It's a step up. Um, your Walmart might still have toilet paper on the automotive section. RV toilet paper. People don't think about that aisle. Huh. Like the kind that's more biodegradable and stuff. You know what? The RV stores might actually have some RV toilet paper. I didn't even think about that either. Shh. My RV has a bit of toilet paper left in it too. Uh, Flapjack Batter says also benzos run out. Yeah. Uh, okay. Bugsy is saying that those statistics were percent of population, not percent of infected. Thank you, Bugsy. Um, I believe some of the range of percentage of death that I was seeing was like somewhere between 2 and 6% of people who get it, but most of the deaths were happening over like a certain age that I am not yet, and most of my coworkers are not. I did tell my employer that one particular person who works there should be sent home just based on age. And I know it's ageist, but I care about that other coworker, and I just don't think that you know the little bit of extra cash that that person's making on the side is worth risking their life with that age range. You know, I'm talking like really old working, and I understand that everybody needs to, you know, have something to do when they're that old, but they don't need to be risking their lives. Rodline says we have lots of toilet paper still here in Illinois. Clorox wipes, Lysol, hand sanitizer is also allowed all over. So, my employer actually orders his supplies through a certain company, and that company usually would put hand sanitizer in boxes of orders of other things as a free sample. And in the drawers of every drawer in the place, there's at least one little hand sanitizer bottle that says uh, sample not for resale. Like, just that he would just like, after there was one in each drawer, he used to throw them away. And I don't think he'll be throwing them away now in case some other pandemic ever happens. But yeah, Misty is the same way. We have a lot of hand sanitizer here in my house that's just lying around. Um, the one in the bathroom she has is Pawganics brand. I think it's for when you're walking your dog and then you picked up some dog poops, and all that. It's specifically for people who walk their dog. They come home, they want to use it's like a foam pump, but it's hand sanitizer. It's been in my bathroom for a long time. Every one of our vehicles has uh, hand sanitizer little bottles that she picks up all over the place because we go to these abandoned houses that are full of rat poop and bird poop. You don't want to touch something and then like get back in your vehicle and touch all this other stuff. You could have a hantavirus, right? So we were set before before all this pandemic and all that shit. Um, so Rodline says, I guess there's time to buy a bidet. Um, you're not the first person to make that joke to me today. I mean, people have said it over and over again today. It's time to get a bidet if we can't have toilet paper. Um, Corny says you can spread the virus by farts. There goes Taco Bell. Like Taco Bell was healthy for you anyway. Um, Kip Drordy says waiting for martial law. Um, Hatred 42, Robert Wallace, actually told me that there are a bunch of QAnon people who are waiting for uh, martial law to be instated, and he said that the QAnon people pinpointed the date that would tell them that their Q leader was, uh, on a hotline to the president all the time as the 13th. So today's now the 12th. So this full day that's ahead of us shouldn't happen. But then the next day, if martial law is declared, then that will be one of those Q proofs where the prediction came true. And this was before Trump suspended all air travel with Europe for 30 days. Um, which, now that I think about it, in a way that I can't tell you guys, does impact other people that I know that I'm going to run into this week. So, yeah. And I also have people that I know that are traveling to uh, Mexico and Latin America, and I imagine that that air travel is going to get suspended as well because how do you know people aren't just flying from Europe to Mexico and then wanting to fly to America? You can't just say nobody can fly here from Europe. Well, then the Europeans will just fly to Iceland and then fly to Canada and then fly to America that way. You know, um, if you're trying to prevent air travel from coming into our country, you got to do it from everywhere. All international flights. Which at this point, it's too fucking late. You know, if let's say some foreign government that hated us got one of their guys infected intentionally and told him to go around to every point in America and just like cough on people to spread this virus more as like a combatant agent of just spreading disease, he's not going to do any better than what we already have in our country right now. The virus is spread. It's going to just hit a whole bunch of people. It's got a good enough spread that there's no way to attack us and make it worse. Um, all this containment is not going to work anymore. They should shift their focus from containment to spending resources on dealing with the symptoms and making sure that people don't needlessly die when they get it. Beefing up hospitals would be a much better use of your manpower than beefing up airport security. Containment is not an option. And see, when the World Health Organization declares something a pandemic, that means it's not contained anymore. You should not, as a country, be trying to contain it still. Epidemics are contained. Pandemics means, holy fuck, abandon your containment strategy and go more towards care. It means something when the World Health Organization says, uh, this is no longer epidemics everywhere, this is pandemic. Um, it means fuck containment. We need to go to treatment. End of rant there. I don't have a lot of energy for rant. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Mexican Jihad, 30-day, Leonard French on stream, that there is no end date. Bugsy says, what about stockpiling gasoline? Huh. Um, I at least think that you should probably fill up the tank of your car. I don't think that anyone should like buy an extra gas tank or anything like that. That's just, uh, but with all of the travel that people are not doing now, I think there's going to be more availability of gasoline and prices are going to drop. And there was that oil price war anyway, right? But with people not traveling, I don't see that gas is going to be an issue. I think the infrastructure of our gas is already going to just like back up and give us a glut. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion, but I was the guy who bought toilet paper before it ran out. First thing, protected my ability to shit. I take that win as saying I have a little bit of an ability to predict how human beings act. Let's see. Let's see. Poseidon says now Biden has a great excuse not to have debates, elections, or press conferences unless he's already infected, which actually looked like it might have been the case on one of those debate stages. He did look a little under the weather, didn't he? You know, some people are now trying to explain away how he had uh, kind of a word selection issue as being a type of stutter where he sometimes has a block and he can't say a certain word, so he has to choose a homonym. But yeah, if it wasn't that and it wasn't dementia per se, could have been just, bad Taco Bell. Anyways, guys, I am kind of tired, and most of that is because my adrenaline did a little dump while I was at the Walmart, just seeing all of the products not there. It's kind of disturbing to me. I had no idea how my mental health was connected to not seeing the shelves empty, you know? But I have lived through a couple earthquakes and hurricanes in my life, you know, and this too shall pass. Uh, I lived through Y2K and SARS and swine flu and all that other shit. So this too shall pass. Those distribution networks for all of the major grocery stores and department stores and all that, they will recover and put all those products back there so that I don't have to buy them in order to make sure that I have them. Capitalism will restock the shelves because I know in my heart that they still want my money. Talk to you guys later.